Pretty sweet, huh? Whoa, hold it. Watch where you pointing that thing.
Who are you?
Neither enemy nor friend. Voila.
You're not with the militia, and you're not PMC.
I'm a weapons wholesaler. All shapes, all sizes. But there's no need to worry, because all my shit's been laundered.
Laundered?
You see, I take ID guns like the PMCs use and make some mods. Then you can use them without having to match IDs. In other words, I'm a gun launderer. You can call me Drebin.
Drebin?
Yeah, they use that for all of us.
There are more of you?
All over the world. Not that I ever met any of them personally. Me, I'm Drebin number 893. You ain't a registered PMC employee, are you? You need a guy like me. Consider it a welcome gift. Take it. The M4. The official carbine model used by the U.S. Army, developed from the M16 service rifle. This one's a top-of-the-line model, real popular with the big PMCs. High precision, not like that government issue shit. It's, free-floating, of course. Relax, that barrel's clean.
Is the hider CQC compatible?
The beauty of this sucker is that it's got a lot of customizable parts. Change it up the way you want to meet your everyday needs.
Flip-up sight, rail system. Not bad.
Yeah, well, you know, I get a lot of noobs around here. And if you need them, I got a wide selection of aftermarket parts as well.
The frame's pretty rigid. No rattle.
Go ahead, give her a squeeze.
Pull the trigger.
Really? That's weird.
What's weird?
Wait, I got it. I bet you're using an older generation of nanomachines.
Older generation?
Sometimes they don't really jive with the new system.
Seriously, who are you?
Whoa. Slow down. Oh, yeah. My day job's working at AT Security. I'm in charge of production control. So I get my hands on all the ID chips before they even register. Have a sip. It's a side of AT the public don't see. From the looks of it, you ain't with any state army. But you ain't exactly green, neither. You've got last-gen nanomachines. So I'm guessing, former U.S. Army? I don't know what you're here for. But you want to be well-equipped, am I right? So, can we talk business or what? You won't regret it. So, we ready to make a deal or what? Okay then, let's talk business. This is a war zone. There's product coming in here by the truckload. And you'll be picking up a lot of guns in the field, I'm sure. Whatever guns you don't need, I'll take and buy them off you. That'll earn you points you can cash in for services.
Like what?
I'll launder your ID guns, no more locks. And I can also sell you the guns I've got in stock, Let me show you. To ensure you can use non-ID guns, I'm gonna have to suppress the old nanomachines you got in you. Otherwise, they'll interfere with the system. Here, stick yourself with this. It's full of suppressor nanomachines. Relax, it won't hurt. You're scared of needles or something? See? No sweat. Now you can use non-ID guns, no problem. Hey, be nice to our guest. Step outside. Boo. There you see? No problem. From now on, when you pick up an ID gun that says lock, you just let me know. You name it, I can launder it. Of course, it'll cost you. The going rate depends on the war price at the time. Man, I gotta give this shit a rest.
Looks like you're doing pretty well for yourself.
You might say that. What with the war economy and all, and the system clamping down on things. System codes are the law now, and control's essentially absolute, paving the way for fat profits if you're willing to bend the law. Demand keeps on growing thanks to the war economy. I sell ID guns to the PMCs and state armies, and naked guns to terrorist groups and paramilitaries. And these ID guns can't be sold on the black market. System's practically a license for us arms dealers to print money. Privatizing the military's made the PMCs big and bloated. The fatter the PMCs get, the line between civilian and soldier is gonna get real blurry. Sooner or later, the whole damn human race is gonna be green collars. More like we're all gonna be fighting proxy wars. But hey, this war economy puts the food on my table. You're a green collar too, aren't you? Yeah, it's in your eyes. You've seen a lot of combat.
What makes you think you know me?
Nothing to be ashamed of. I'm the same way. I grew up here too. I got no interest in the outside world. All right then. If you need me, holla. We specialize in speedy service. Catch my drift? I have you. Over here.
You.
Come on, hop in. It's getting rough out there. I don't think so. We meet again.
You've been following me.
You seem like an interesting guy, so I decided to check you out. Sit down. A lot of legends about you out there in the intel community, especially in the CIA. You know those nanomachines I injected you with back in the Middle East? They let me track your location. Figures. The B&Bs are here. Things are about to get hairy.
B&Bs.
You never heard of them? They're Beauty and the Beast. Together they're called the B&B Corps. They're a squad of enhanced female soldiers, belong to the PMCs. Anytime there's a mess that needs cleaning up, they're on the scene leading the elites.
That's a female?
Probably freelancers hired by the PMCs. They run out of a separate parent organization. Guess it's time for good old Drebin to let you in on a few things. Ever since you showed up in the Middle East, the B&B Corps has got orders to kill. Their #1 priority is to eliminate some guy on sight. A guy named, Solid Snake. But from where I'm sitting, Old Snake seems a little more appropriate.
Old, huh?
Cheer up. That's the bad news. Word on the street says that beneath those ugly-ass suits, the B&Bs are real babes. Drop dead gorgeous. They also say each one of them's been traumatized by war. Badly. They weren't even soldiers to begin with, you know. More like victims of war. They suffered shell shock on the battlefield. Post-traumatic. It damaged their minds pretty much beyond repair. So the only way they could cope with the reality of battle was to become war machines themselves. The remnants of their human side are buried deep within. The beast, that's what you see on the outside. War transforms a snake into beasts.
War transforms us.
But deep within that shell, something human survives. A fragile, scarred heart. Without a shell to protect it, it's like the yolk of an egg. Word going round is their natural flesh and blood bodies can't survive in the open for more than a few minutes. And they've been convinced that by killing Snake, their minds will be cleansed. They think it's gonna free them from all the pain, and all the fury, and all the sorrow. Which makes these babes pretty much obsessed with killing you. 4 B&Bs have been identified so far. The one you just saw was Raging Raven. There's also Laughing Octopus, the master of mimicry, and Crying Wolf. She runs on 4 legs. And finally, the mistress of mind control, Screaming Mantis.
Mantis?
Yeah. There used to be a guy by that name in the US military. A Russian psychic. He could control people's minds. I guess she inherited the title. She keeps the other B&B's minds in check with her powers.
Octopus, Raven, Wolf, Mantis.
You got it. They're the Snakehound unit. They've got you in their sights. Shit. I'd hate to be in your shoes.
Drebin. I thought no one was supposed to be able to hack into the system. Are you with the Patriots?
No, sir. I ain't no lale-lule. I mean, I'm no patriot.
You can say Patriot. I guess that means you're clean, right?
The nanomachines I got in me are different from the military kind. No speech restrictions for me.
What the hell are these Patriots? Are they human?
Not anymore, they ain't. They're the law of this world, created over the course of history. They're what holds this world together, keeps this whole mess in check.
We are formless. We are the very discipline and law that Americans invoke so often.
The Patriots are America, the world's greatest military power. They are the war economy, which makes you and me just cogs in a much grander schematic. I mean, someone obviously had to start the whole thing at the beginning, but now their law has taken on a life of its own.
A life of its own.
Yep. The country, the war economy, it ain't run by people. It's run by the system. No need for high-level decision-making authority. It's all handled by a massive, yet simple information processing system. An AI. It works just like natural law. The world's a much simpler place than most folks realize. Every aspect of the Patriot system is closely monitored by 3 peripheral AIs and a core AI that ties them all together. The SOP system is one part of that. It's all backed up by a foolproof control system. So not even yours truly can sneak inside the Patriots' AIs.
What if, hypothetically, someone found a way?
If they could fool the IDS. I guess they could use it as a haven to lay low.
Haven?
You know, like a tax haven. In the internet society, we have net havens, data havens. A haven is someplace where social conventions and the rules of the net don't apply. Back in the 20th century, the super rich would open bank accounts in countries without income tax laws. Not a bad way to evade paying taxes. Now we've got us a society where everybody's DNA and personal info is totally controlled by the nanomachines inside their bodies. Won't be long before people start using havens to escape from ID control. I guess you could say my gun laundering kind of borrows from the haven concept, after a fashion. Even so, good luck finding a way to access the Patriots' AIs from the outside. It's absolutely impossible. No chance in hell. Like I said, there's no breaking into those AIs from the outside.
But Liquid's got something in mind. You sure there's no way?
I'm just a gun launderer. Only reason I'm interested in you is because you start a lot of fires. All right then. You need me? Just give me a ring. Go on. Get your ass back inside. Now! I have you. Yo, Snake, looking good today.
Drebin, what do you want?
That's cold, man. And here I was about to tell my very best customer about face camo.
Face camo?
That camo skull cap you just picked up from Tentacle's shell. It utilizes the same kind of technology as your octo camo suit. Using the two together can get you even better results. I'd hang on to it if I was you.
Doesn't fit. It's not my size or shape.
Yeah, looks like it could use a bit of tailoring before you can sport it. Not my line of work, but... ain't you got a buddy who specializes in that kind of thing?
Somebody's done their homework.
Hey, it's my job.
Is that the real reason you injected me with those nanomachines? To spy on me?
I prefer the term customer data management myself.
Drebin.
Relax. It's strictly confidential. I ain't gonna share it with anybody.
Then what did you mix a virus in with the nanomachines for?
Virus?
A certain virus was detected in my body. Are you saying it wasn't in the nanomachines you injected?
Look, you do know there are other folks who could have done this to you. And besides, what would I gain from infecting you? Better for me that you're out there kicking ass on the battlefield. I was watching you, Snake. You're a real piece of work. Never thought I'd meet the man who could take down Laughing Octopus single-handedly. She just kept on laughing. Now why do you suppose that is?
Something in her past.
You got it. She's from a village in Scandinavia. Little seaside hamlet known to all the locals as the Devil's Village. Place wasn't known for devils, though. It was known for octopus. See, this was one of the few places in Europe where they ate octopus customarily. Anyway, there's this cult of crazies who for some reason hate the village with a passion. Then, when she was just a teenager, things get bad. These nutcases get their hands on some weapons and attack the village. Overnight, her sleepy little fishing town becomes a war zone. They round up all the villagers and execute them one by one. Except for that girl. They had something else planned for her. Something a whole lot worse than dying. Calling her the devil's child, they forced her to do the kind of thing you'd expect from one of Lucifer's own. After they made her torture her family and friends, they made her kill them. The whole time they were forcing her to laugh, howl like some sort of demon. Like she was enjoying it. What was she gonna do? Say no? They'd kill her too. So she let fear take control and did exactly as they told her. She butchered the bodies of the ones she loved and laughed while she did it. And as she bathed in their blood, it gradually turned from deep red to jet black. To her, it looked like the ink of an octopus. The experience scarred her deep. Ever since then, she hasn't stopped laughing. Only, that ain't really laughter.
Why are you telling me this? You expect me to feel sorry for her?
Nah. I know you got no room for that stuff in your world. And besides, this is war. Right? In a way, though, I guess it was the right thing to do.
What was?
Fighting you cleansed her mind. All right, enough chit-chat. There's other beasts out there in them woods. Watch your back.
Need a lift?
Drebin!
Get in already!
Nail me! Jump!
be a bumpy ride!
Okay. Thanks.
Come on, Naomi. Stay with me. Up you go. You okay?
Oh, shit.
We're hiding.
Go on, get out of here.
Can you move?
Yes. Let's go.
Here they come! Way to bring that bird down, Snake.
Drebin.
And you got yourself a souvenir, too. A grenade launcher. Nice. That's a real user-friendly weapon.
Not much use to me without an ID, though.
I'll launder this one free of charge.
What's the catch?
Only that you give it to me when you're done with it. A weapon with that many decades of rage stored up inside it? Now that's a collector's item.
How old was she?
I'd say about 20. But she had years of soldiers' rage hidden away in that youthful body of hers.
Soldiers?
Yeah, the soldiers of Ake. A place that hasn't seen peace in a long, long time. She was captured by one side or another, and kept caged up like an animal, along with God knows how many other kids.
Anonymous violence.
Exactly. It's unknown whether her captors were with the government or the rebels. In any case, they got their kicks by abusing these helpless little kids day after day after day. That constant barrage, that battlefield rage slowly built up inside their bodies, their minds. The kids tried to keep each other's spirits up, always clinging to the hope that someone would come to their rescue, barely surviving off of scraps of food. But those soldiers didn't stop. They called the kids parasites and shit-eating ravens, beat them even harder. Then one morning, the soldiers just up and left, leaving the surviving kids to be eaten alive by the birds. Almost like one of those sky burials. One by one, their bodies were picked apart by ravens' beaks, until finally the flock came for her. But by some miracle, their beaks cut her bonds instead. And like that, she was liberated. In that instant, she was filled with an uncontrollable rage, and it smothered her soul. She ripped the ravens pecking at her to pieces, and then went after the soldiers. And when she finally caught up with them, she waited until nightfall like a hunter awaiting its prey. They say that when a raven cries, a man dies. And that's exactly what happened that night. Screeching and cawing, she killed every last living being in the camp. Both the soldiers and the civilians they'd enslaved. In her eyes, there was no longer a difference. The cruelty her friends had suffered, the pain and humiliation she'd endured. Hers was the distillation of the rage that decades of war had imparted on those soldiers.
It was her strength, and her greatest weakness.
You're something else, Snake. You managed to cleanse Raven of her rage. No, seriously. You're the seed of war. In fact, I'd say you might even be war itself.
Drebin?
Maybe it's still too early to tell. You've still got half the B&B Corps ahead of you. Keep your eye on the ball, pal. Yo, Snake. I finished laundering that railgun you picked up just now. Knock yourself out. It's on the house.
Thanks.
Time for another bedtime story, Snake. This one's about crying wolf. You don't need me to tell you there's whole nations in Africa tearing themselves apart in the name of ethnic cleansing. Well, she was born into that environment. When she was a little girl, her village was attacked by rival armed factions. Her parents and siblings were slaughtered, and she was left a refugee. She took her last surviving relative, her baby brother, and ran as far as she could away from the war zone. One day, they came across an enemy unit, so she took her brother and hid in an abandoned shack. And then her brother started to cry. She knew that if the soldiers heard the noise, they would find them and kill them both. So she wrapped her hand as tight as she could around his mouth. As the footsteps gradually went away, she came back to her senses. Her brother wasn't crying anymore. Horrified, she pulled her hand away, covered in sweat and spit. He wasn't breathing. They say wolves eat their own pups when they die. She was spotted wandering through the thick of battle, carrying her dead brother in her arms. She had visions, too. A wolf walking alongside her. Every night, the wolf would howl and cry, just like her brother did that day. Eventually, she made it to a government-run refugee camp. But by then, her brother's body had rotted away. The camp was crowded with refugees like herself, and little children like her brother. Day and night, she was tormented by the cries of babies. The wolf that followed her heard her sorrowful screams and answered. He made his way around the camp, and one by one, he silenced the children. She tried to stop it, but she was powerless to stop the wolf. A few days passed, and on the eve of the enemy's raid, there wasn't a child left. The adults who survived were torn up pretty bad. Of course, there was never any wolf in that camp. She was the one who killed those babies. But she couldn't bring herself to admit it. She couldn't bear the thought of herself going from one baby to the next, howling like a wolf, snuffing out their little lives. And she never did, even as crying wolf, a lonely beast forever stalking the battlefield. Snake, fighting with you made Wolf finally accept what she'd done. She was cleansed by you. If the cries she heard of children on the battlefield have been silenced, it's because of you. You ought to be proud. 3 down, 1 to go. All that's left is Mantis. But you should know, Snake, she's been controlling all the other beasts. She's the beast of beasts. Don't let her get her hooks in you.
I won't.
See you around, Snake. Fancy meeting you here.
What are you doing here?
I laundered these guys' ideas, then issued them new naked weapons, including that catapult you're gonna be riding. Business has been slow ever since Liquid got his hands on the system. His extra orders stopped coming in. Now that all the weapons all over the world are locked, the only ones still looking to fight would be you and yours. They tell me it's not economical to replace all that useless equipment on the battlefield with my stuff. So I made an extra special trip out here, just for you.
Drebin, do you even have the slightest idea what's going on here?
Of course I do. See, when it comes down to it, the world's like this soda here. Once the bubbles are gone, I ain't got no use for it. It's worth nothing. I'm on the side of whoever needs me the most. You dig? If you need anything, just say the word. I'm setting up shop here for a spell. Enjoy it. Could be your last.
It is. I'm all out. All right.
Looks like that last smoke will have to wait after all. Later.
Hey, here.
Oh, thanks.
So, you bested the last beast. That doll you just picked up lets you manipulate anybody who's got nanomachines in them. Sounds like something the devil's cooked up, if you ask me. Mantis came from South America. She was born and raised in a country racked by never-ending civil wars. Her village was attacked by enemy forces and burned to the ground. This was when she was still a little girl. Hunted by enemy death squads, she was separated from her family. She barely managed to escape with her life. Ended up in the basement of this one building. It was full of corpses that had been dumped there. Almost all of them had been tortured to death. She was petrified with fear. And then, she heard the sound of heavy boots on the floor above her, followed by shrieking screams. The kind that would make every hair on your body stand straight up. She had stumbled across a makeshift torture chamber. Somebody'd locked the door, and she was trapped. It was dark, it was dank, and it was full of a wretched stench. She couldn't sleep with the screams of torture victims all around her.
All she could do was sit curled up in one corner of the room, trembling. A week passed, then 10 days. She managed to keep hydrated by drinking the filthy water pooled up on the floor, but there was no food. Being trapped in that kind of place, half crazy from hunger, did a serious number on her mind. Did you know female mantises eat their mates? The screams went on day and night. She covered her ears, but it didn't help. And then, she was saved by a little black mantis that taught her how to block out the screams, how to plug up her inner ears.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm saying, Snake, that when she couldn't stand the hunger any longer, she started feeding on the corpses. But only the male ones. She didn't realize who was doing it. In her mind, it was a female mantis devouring her mates. It was like one big twisted waking dream. There was no mantis, of course. It was all a hallucination. Nothing more than some story spun by another person she'd created inside. Her unstable mind was what made her so vulnerable. Later, they ripped out what was left of her psyche with drugs and hypnosis and implanted the persona of Psycho Mantis. It wasn't her will that controlled the B&Bs. It was Psycho Mantis, half assimilated into her soul, pulling the strings. Screaming Mantis was just another puppet. Anyway, she survived several weeks down in that hellhole and finally got back to the surface. But the screams in her head didn't subside. They would always be with her. Only this time, they weren't real. The inner earplugs didn't work anymore. The black mantis had disappeared. There was no place left to escape. Which is why she was always screaming, to drown out the ones in her own head. But it's over now. You freed Mantis from that dark nightmare.
The last of them beasts.
You got it, pal. Well, I'm done playing storyteller for a while. Now get going. GW's waiting. And this time, you get to make up the ending.
Just in time.
Drebin.
And I brought gifts. A shower of flowers, compliments of drebin. And a little something extra from me. Nothing beats a stiff drink, huh?
I didn't know you drank. I thought it was strictly soda for you.
Not like I never touched the stuff. Soda just agreed with the nanos better. The nanomachines break down alcohol before it has a chance to get you drunk.
So, that explains it. No need to hold back anymore, huh?
Yeah, well, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of folks lost their entire sense of being the moment SOP went offline.
You mean SOPS? I heard some people are going through withdrawals. SOP syndrome.
Yep. SOP kept more than just alcohol under control. Those poor slobs are virtually naked now.
From what I hear, over 10% are showing symptoms. I guess getting rid of the Patriots won't solve all our problems overnight.
You, probably already suspected this, but I'm not actually an employee of AT Security.
Huh?
The Patriots raised me to be a gun launder.
The Patriots?
My earliest memories are of the LRA. They kidnapped me, forced me to fight. Yep. You're staring at a former child soldier. My parents, brothers and sisters, all killed in the war. Guess that makes me what you'd call a war orphan. After that, the Patriots picked me up and brought me into the family business. I was drebin, number 893. There's a whole lot of pawns like me all over the world. How do you suppose I laundered guns like I did? 'Cause they let me. In fact, I was under strict orders to back you guys from the start.
You what?
Hey, man. Don't take it personal. I wasn't the only one under their orders.
Huh? Meryl and...
They probably never realized it themselves, but... Rat Patrol, Team 01. Voila.
Patriot.
Played like a violin.
But why?
Obviously, Liquid's plot was a threat to the Patriots. So they planned to have you guys take care of it.
Didn't turn out quite how they planned, though, did it?
Yeah, well, I don't think they expected you to crash their system and wipe them out.
So, does that mean you're out of a job now?
Are you kidding? I got the drebins. All the drebins in the world are in on it. From now on, we're in business for ourselves. We are pawns no more.
Easy there.
The White House might have lost its taste for unilateralism, started to rebuild. But there's a lot of failed states out there that went bankrupt from their PMC habits, and they owe a shitload of money. Now, only question is, who's gonna pick up the tab? I'm sure these new governments will try and keep it under control with PMC corporate reform laws, but it ain't gonna be good enough. They all sunk up to their eyeballs in the war economy. Might not be a new world order, but the old order under the war economy's gone for good. I'm guessing the UN is gonna be more important than ever, what with multilateralism and all. A certain president said it best back during the Cold War. For in the development of this organization rests the only true alternative to war. Then again, the UN itself's just an old 20th century relic. And if you think about it, when you look at its history, it ain't that different from the Patriots.
Ah, that's right. The nanomachines used to keep you sober.
Crush. Mix. Burn. Repeat.